just to give some people who are in the process of signing in. Okay, everybody, thank you for waiting for a few minutes. As the other participant was joining in, I would like to kick off this discussion this morning. We have honored to have Miss Thilma Komaling that I know for many, many years. Um, she will share with you guys all her journey working from the organization that deal with the base of pyramid, people who hovering on the poverty lines, until currently leading the consortium that consists of a different scale of organization, specifically looking on the tuna industry in Indonesia. Um, the Today we will have different structure a little bit on our discussion because I want to give you more time to ask questions. So I prepared some of point discussion with Thilma, but I will pause after a few minutes of discussion, then allow the floor, all of you to ask question, and then we continue for the um, agenda. But if you ask more question, and I think I will give you more time to make sure that you can dialogue directly with Thilma. Good morning, Thilma. How are you today?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mas F. I'm well. I'm well. Thank you for having me. It's really an honor to share the journey with all of you.
Thanks. So, uh, yeah, I forgot. Charlotte, you want to say something for about 30 seconds just to kick off the discussion as usual?
I normally would not, but I will take this opportunity. Um, just so everyone knows, Thelma and I have been working together for a number of years as well, not as long as her and Farid, but it's really an honor to have her here today to talk about the Indonesia Tuna Consortium in particular. And I think that her experience working with this really interesting and diverse partnership, being able to bring together a number of different actors, really get them on the same page in terms of honing in on their message and how they can influence in the policymaking process, specifically in Indonesia, but also the influence that I've been able to have in the region as well. So I know Thelma very well. She will take all questions that you ask, and she will enjoy answering every single one of them. So I do hope this is a lively conversation and you take the chance to really learn as much as you can. And thank you, Thelma, so much for joining us today. We should also mention Thelma is actually an emerging Sea Coastal leader. So she is part of this cohort, as is she speaking today to share her knowledge with you all. So thank you again, Thelma. We're honored to have you here.
Same likewise, Charlotte. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. Okay, Thelma,
Yeah.
just to warming up the discussion, could you tell me who you are in probably 30 seconds, 90 seconds before we go to the heavy stuff?
Okay. First and foremost, I'm a mother of two. That's always my opening of my introduction. And who am I? I think I'm a woman of a mission. I always enjoy working if it's directly impacting is either people, community, or the earth, basically nature. I have been working in, professionally almost, I think now 23 years. And yeah, that's basically it. I am passionate about my country, Indonesia, like it or not. That's where you were born, and you have also a mission to help the country, and that's basically it. Yeah.
Thank you. That's very nice opening. Okay, you have spent more than 2 decades working with community at the base of pyramid.
Yeah.
Looking back, what first drew you into this work, and what experience most shaped your perspective as a leader?
Ooh. Okay. So I think just want to share my journey. It started when a tsunami struck in 2004. No, yeah, it was active 2004, and like the social media was not on that time, so all you see in the TV station is just like bodies, right, carried for by the floods and all that. So that time I was still working with the fossil fuel company, an energy company that time. And the only wish that I was hoping was just going there and help all the victims, right? So I was like sending all my CVs to 100 more than 100 uh, that time's organization that has been flooding into to Indonesia to support Aceh that time. So then I landed my first job in development with Save the Children, but then they won't let me go to the field. That time they say that this is an exact word my supervisor that time say, you're a city girl, so I don't think you will strive in this field. So I seek for other options, and then I landed to work with a project called Clean Air Project. That time I was still 20 something, and I'm proudly say if you're come to Jakarta, and if you spend a Sunday morning here in the heart of Jakarta, you will experience cut-free day. It was started by one single email from my supervisor. But then that time I knew that a 24-year me can make an impact. So it was not so much on the leadership, Farid. It was just on how you make your life count, basically, right? So afterwards, then I come work also encounter with your leadership that time, right, Farid, on working in microfinance and also working, and then I get in touch with technology. And then I spent a good 8 years in technology, working with startups and all that. And if the question is about leadership, I think the what drew me into this work and how to lead people is basically how I want to share the journey of. I always think every day that our life is in so-called crisis, because it is, right? So that's and then I need more people. We need more people to work in conservation. We need more people to work in community and all that. So that's why then I decided, okay, now I have to learn how to lead. So everything goes quite natural. It's not intentionally I want to lead just because of my my trying to kind of prove my performer, but just on the fact that your life count, and then you can make an impact, and then you want others to make an impact too. So yeah.
Thanks. That's quite enlightening. So, for most of people recently, we know you as Tuna Lady, but your
Yes.
journey, yeah, journey spans fisheries, innovation, startup, ecosystem building. How did your career evolve across these different spaces, and what connects them for you personally?
Okay. I think the Tuna Lady comes about as a mockery. I think this is a safe space for me to share. I used to work before. I was working in tech. I was working in AI, working with IoT, like all different, because I'm so uh, inspired of all this new age technology. So I spent that year, 8 years working there. And then I kind of think that what I even that time, one of my the accomplishment was to make an AI curriculum for K-12. So basically, I my imagination or my vision was trying to teach the kids how to make robots per se, right? But then I kind of come to a realization, oh, but then I kind of, at that time I went to vacation, and then there's this one island. No, no kids in that island can name a single fish in the ocean nearby. So I was like, oh wow. So I put the AI into a national curriculum, but then what about the earth? What about the nature? Right? So then I kind of shift my gear to work and seeking for work in anything related to nature. So then I landed up this job for the specific mission, basically. And then, like, basically the people who's working in technology think tuna is just like fish, just like a small protein grams in your plate, right? So they kind of put it as a mockery per se, like say, "Oh, the tuna lady," because all she do is talk about the tuna. But now I'm kind of I'm owning it with honor, because that means that you can speak for the conservation, speak for the ocean, and the way that I shift gear is just because the calling, basically, the calling to make sure that the nature or the elements that we need to be alive for the longer generation is still there.
Thank you. Currently, you leading a very large um, project, you might
Yeah.
say, for a few years in Tuna, Indonesia, called Tuna Consortium.
Correct.
Without going through all the long presentation of Tuna Consortium, I would like to know also, or we would like to know specifically how Tuna Consortium work with coastal community, and can you also, giving an example, a specific initiative that implemented by consortium members and the impact that it might already start to emerge.
Okay. So the Tuna Consortium is a multi-gear platform. For those who don't know, tuna was caught in with different gears. We have bottom line, hand line, prosane, and also long line. So on that specific gears, there has also specific problems, right? But this Tuna Consortium is kind of put them in the same platform, and making sure that they coordinate, because at the end of the day it's the tuna that you caught, the same tuna that you kept caught, right? So uh that's as simple as bringing in like all the stakeholders, meaning the government, the academia, and also the private sectors, as well as the professionals who's working with international organizations and also international donors, to sit together and think about the future of tuna. And currently, we have 5 members of this Tuna Consortium. We have Yayasan MDPI, we have International Pollen Line and Pollen Line Foundation. We have TNC or YECAN in the local forums, and Marine Change, a consultant company, and also Fair Trade USA. So those are like the 5 members, but we work directly and indirectly with the government, also with associations, within the government, because I think it is from last year, or for the last 2 years, there's a concept of a whole of government enabling environment for tuna. So you cannot just work in one specific ministry. This means, in my case, is Ministry of Marine Affairs. So we kind of span that out into a couple of more ministries, including also Ministry of Foreign Affairs, because there's also a political element on this species. So that's how then we work. One of the achievement that we made is back in 2023, on the World Ocean Day. It's not we basically succeeded in facilitating the government to launch the harvest strategy for Indonesia archipelagic waters. Why is this very important? Because the Indonesia archipelagic waters is meant for a sovereignty of leading the fisheries management. That means then you don't have to go to RFMO to get the quota of fishing, but that also relates to the international needs of making sure that the stocks is still available, because one research say one out of six tuna in the world is coming from that area. So that's how important the work is. Currently, we are focusing on the tuna diplomacy. I did talk in TV station a couple years back, and I say why I'm interested working with this species, because tuna is not only highly migratory species, but it's also highly political. So that means then, we need to make sure that we have our own control with the stock, and also own control in our research plans, and also funding for that. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna give. I will take a break for asking question. I'm gonna give a opportunity for the participant to ask question. Anybody want to ask question?
Yay.
Zayas, go ahead.
Yes, good morning, Ms. Thilma.
Good morning. Yes.
Good morning, everyone. I'm sorry to, but thank you very much again for these opportunities that Timor-Leste also could be able to be part of the team on these business. And also thanks to Ms. Tuna, Ms. Thilma, sorry, not Miss Tuna. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I'm
Anyway,
called as a Tuna Lady anyway.
I think this is a very best opportunities for me to talk to you, especially to the team, but not to think negatively. But this is just an idea.
Right.
Maybe I can ask you, how long have you been joined with the tuna?
This is my
production.
Okay, this is my fifth year.
Fifth year. Okay.
Yes.
This is one of the information. This is a very good opportunity that I can share with you what we are, what's happening in Timor-Leste. At the moment, we are aiming to protect our ocean, to do conservation in Sahel Bay.
Right.
And the issue is that I think this issue, it's a bit far away from that, but what we are trying to do now is to conserve the biodiversity conservation in Sahel Bay. Do you know that Sahel Bay located? It is near.
Sahel Bay, yeah.
Yeah, the study showed that area, it's tuna-based spawning and also red snapper spawning sites.
Yeah, correct.
So we've been working on to protect that tuna. So currently, tuna fishermen from Indonesia has been fishing along in our ocean. This is a good opportunity that I can share with you how in the future we can get connection to help us in Timor to protect our ocean. That from I'm not saying that from your part of you. This is a good opportunity I can share with you. Maybe you can have voice to Indonesian fishermen to be able to help us to overlook at the our tuna information protection system in Timor-Leste.
Right.
Again, I'm very appreciate what I've read to one of the introduction from Mr. Maruf about the and then maybe in the future your experience can be shared to Timor how we could help us to sustain our biodiversity, especially in tuna, and also how to set up the fishermen in Timor-Leste can be advanced land from Indonesian tuna, so that our Timor-Leste fishermen could be able to fish in a tuna site in Timor Sea. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I've been in Timor-Leste twice, working with the fisheries leadership there. So, Thilma, if you have any short answer, because I think most of the request is about cooperation. I think the discussion could further later on offsite, but yeah, go ahead, and then there will be second question actually waiting for you.
Okay, so Zayas, thank you so much for that note. I knew that area very well, and we have been trying in our best. Although this is within meeting rooms, but we're putting in place. It's already put in place a policy on open and closure timings on that area for protecting the spawning ground. But in terms of the currently, we have 2.4 million small scale fisheries in Indonesia. So I cannot speak on behalf of each one of them. But what we can share to you is that within our consortium, we have one member, Yayasan MDPI. I urge you to take a look on their work. They have been incredibly helpful on not only supporting but also educating the small scale fishers in understanding how important the area is to maintain the stock in the long run. So it's called Yayasan MDPI, so mdpi.or.id, their website. And I think yes, it's open. They are very open for collaborations. They also even have sites in NTT near Timor Leste. So yeah, I think it's a possibility to have a collaboration on that. Thank you for the note, Zayas.
All right, thank you. I think the second question, Nadia. Hi, Nadia. Go ahead.
Hi, morning.
Hey.
Okay, I just shoot right away. Katilma, I love what you are working on. And
Thank
earlier
you.
you mentioned working at diplomacy level. My question is, what does success actually feels like for people on the ground when it all comes together?
Okay, so I need to share this the most simpler way because this is how I put in my mind and working with the government and also the political actors. It comes to when you want to have the meat, like when you have a burger, right? The meat it is in the middle. The work needs to be just like the bun, right? It needs to be from the top and also from the bottom. So if you go from the top to bottom, it's not a burger, basically, right? It's just like half of the burger. So that means if you work in provincial level, you need to work directly with the government, directly. In this case, you can go through from their political party or just families. I do all sort of things to be able to meet with the governor because they are the one who's making the last call of every policy. And then you also need to work. This is the most important and the most time consuming, but you have to be patient on this, is to work with the people on the ground who will be benefiting for that policy. So that means in this case, if you're working with the small scale fishers, so you need to have some sort of samples of targeted area from the small scale fishers community to work directly with them. So by the time the policy is in place, then they are ready to implement it, or they are ready is also to argue if they're not okay with the outcome of the policy. I hope that helps.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I agree with Thilma because this is also one of my paradigm thinking. When we work with small scale fishers, usually there is a circle of benefit that come from upstream or do downstream, come back again to all the supply chain players. For people, young people, thinkers, young leaders, coastal leaders, we should spend more time thinking how to shorten the benefit of cycles. So if we create something or we ask something from the small scale fishers, for example, the benefit should be immediately received rather than going all the way 2, 3 step again and then come back. So this is what the challenge is. I think Nadia work actually strongly related to that. Okay, let's go to next question. You
We have
work
Mark.
with,
Oh, sorry. I thought we were taking question from the audience.
oh, is there any question that?
Yeah, we have one hand raised from Mark.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Sorry, Mark, I didn't see your name, and I think there's two people. Yeah.
Thank you, Farid. Thank you, Thelma. I'm Mark. I'm calling in from the Philippines.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Thank you so much for having the heart on working with the communities of fisher folks. So here in the Philippines, where I live, tuna is also one of the livelihoods of our fisher folks. And few years back, we have started as well of creating a network of fisher folks kind of like grounded on tuna because tuna is very much migratory, so it passes a lot of provinces here. So we started creating the network, but it didn't manifested because of many challenges, especially on the government side. I was wondering if you could share the process of your journey in creating the consortium. Perhaps we can learn something from there here in the Philippines as well. Like who are in the consortium? Are there government there and private sectors as well all together? Sharing decision making with the fisher folks in terms of policy and actions as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark. Shall I just directly answer? So I'm too
Yeah,
excited
go ahead.
maybe for
Go ahead.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think the consortium is not mandatory to make a change, right? In terms of you say that you have trouble or problems working with the government officials or like government institutions. There are three things that I can share to you after 2 decades working with the government. One is you tell them as it is, like you basically uh tell the government officials the facts, what's happening on the ground, what's the problem, all that facts. And the second, you move to this is very important one. You map the power that they can do for to change the or to solve the problems, right? And the third one is also not this is like that three in one kind of combo. The last one is you need to make sure how they can do it. And the longest time you need to invest is on the third steps, and that's what the Tuna Consortium has been doing. So because we have a couple of recommendation, you can put up the policy brief, but without working with them directly, like hand in hand, working with them directly, that would be just another recommendation, another stack of paper. So I think not to think so much of how to build a consortium. It will make as it grows, like organically, if there's a need, of course there would be a stakeholder kind of gathered platform, right? So but the most important part is when you see a problem, you need to make sure that you share it or make a fancy way of doing this means advocacy. You need to do advocacy to the government. And advocacy is not something scary. You just need to do that three things. Let them know the problem, facts, and tell them what their power, and then make sure you also share with them or discover with them how they can solve that problem by the policy. I hope that helps, Mark.
Filma, do you also want to maybe talk a little bit about how the Tuna Consortium works with associations? Because I think
Yeah.
that's an important piece of this as well.
Sure. So the consortium consists of organizations who's working directly either with small scale fishers, but also working with local government. But the most important part is we start thinking the legacy from day one. That's why then we work directly with the associations, because all of the measurement, the fisheries management measurement, the harvest strategy, all of that will only make sense if that be implemented by either the fishers, also with the companies, right? So the private sector. So that's what then it's very important for us also including them as we are building the new policy in place or procedures for fisheries management and all that from day one. So that's how then we kind of work with the associations, because we are currently identify five different organizations. Oh, sorry, five different associations who works in tuna industry, be it the canning associations or just gear type associations. So that means then they all have the same information as we do, and we are also hoping they would also try to create the same influence as we are making to the government and also to the people in their area.
Osias, I saw your hand up for quite some time. Quickly, go ahead.
One more question. Thilma,
Yeah.
how do you get attention from the high official government? Because I know that that's not easy to get through. Whether you go through, you involve in politics, or
Yeah.
so that you can influence, or how? I know this is a bit tricky, but anyway, I just
No.
want to know, because we almost get the same experience in Timor as well. So how to get the government attention in order to approve to work alongside with you
Right.
in terms of decision making, because in
think-
terms of decision making, and how. Sorry,
Sorry.
sorry,
I
Mark.
know. I
Please.
think the question is very important. I would like Thilma to answer this, because this is actually the essence of why is she being called Tuna Ladies.
Okay. So this group is quite lucky because I haven't shared this trick for the longest time. So no, I'm not involved in any political party
Thank you.
whatsoever. They have been requested me to be part of a political party, but I say no because I think working with nature specifically need to be neutral as possible. I think one thing that when you want to attract a high rank of government officials, we need to remember one thing, Osias. In the book of species, fish has like different species, right? Even tuna have different subspecies as well. But humans only put as one species, human. So I use that analogy, understanding. That means that whether or not whether they're the president or like vice president, whatever, they're also human. So I use a very simple, basic trick, meaning that you need to communicate human to human to the government high rank officials, and you have to touch the humanity point. So in my case, if I want to speak on behalf of the tuna, to the tuna protection per se, right, or the sustainable fisheries management, I need to understand their interests, and also I need to understand also where they come from, so that it makes sense when I say human to human conversation, that it makes sense that they can also be part of the big work that we're trying to do. So nothing quite fancy. I'm not belong from someone from the high rank officials family, but it's that human to human interaction that has been missing. One note is also because I have worked in AI before everything else started in 2020, before 2020. So that the concept can be built. That concept of we are the protector of all the nature. We are the protector of the land, the ocean, all that. That I think and I believe in each one of individuals of humans on this earth have. The only thing that distort the idea is the concept of economy, politics, which is a man-made concept, right? So I urge you to learn and practice as much as possible. The last thing that they can do to you is basically reject your idea, and that's okay. You can find also another way of or avenue to put across your message.
Right. Yeah, just a little bit note on that one. I think I also have a
Thank you, Thilma.
yeah, I have chance to work with a number of fisheries uh, managers and officials across Southeast Asia. Think one thing also we have to be sensitive to the culture, very important. Um, Number two, you have to, when you approach them, rapport. That's actually, you have to build a rapport, a good relationship with them, right? One way of to mention to do that is actually to show that you are part of his success, not against his success. So for those who probably being um, frank or vocals about works, will probably could understand why the government sometimes push back a little bit on our idea. It's just a matter of way you communicate with them. We have a very good question here from Cesar, Philippines. He typed it there, so I'm just going to read it. Hello, I'm J Ray from Philippines. I work social inclusion specialist. I work as a social inclusion specialist with a focus responsible seafood sourcing. I would like to ask, what are the challenges in the value chain that is the most urgent?
The most urgent is make sure, because you are a social inclusion specialist, the most important part is how to make sure inclusivity is actually in place in any part of decision making on the value chain decision making. So that's why then the Tuna Consortium work through our one of our member is trying to make say a leadership training for the fishers. We call it the fisher champions. Now currently they have 121 fisher champions. They are the one who sit in meetings. They're the one who sit on the co-management annual meetings as well. So they are also the one who do the negotiation with the company or the canning factory per se. So those kind of leadership need to be built, and confidence level as well, and as well as how you communicate your message, right? So because most of the fishers in the rural areas, they have, they don't have the same level of education as us, right? So that, I think, the most important part and the most challenges in the value chain.
Okay. Anybody else? So,
We have Desire also has her
oh,
hand up. Yeah.
Hello.
okay. Yeah, go ahead, Cesar.
Okay. Hi, Thelma.
Hi.
I'm Jazer from the Philippines. My question is, tuna is very high valued here. Our
Mhm.
entire fisheries code was amended because we received a threat of red card in the European market for our
Right.
tuna exports. So that is one way of showing how the market, at least the global market, the European market, have the power or influence on the government to discipline the government to enforce regulations on um, sustainability and fisheries. But at the same, so that's the relationship we have: the communities, the government, and then the market. But at the same time, we also have the other side of the market because they also give the biggest pushback in terms of labor standards. One, they are very interested, or they are very vocal on advocating for um, having good standards on the size of the tuna, for example. But at the same time, they have very low standards when it comes to the labor of the people working in the canneries and the hand lines. So,
Right.
how do you navigate the different actors in the scene, the community, the market, and the government?
So are you working into the industry, Desire, currently?
No, I'm working with a coastal community, but we have a lot of tuna handliners.
Okay.
And I studied last year the subsector value chain of tuna.
Okay. Right. So thank you. That kind of give me more context. So this is why I think at the previous in the beginning I say why I like working in the species, because it is not only highly migratory but also highly political, right? So that part of political uh, context or elements of tuna industry is something that I think you are, and it's all very interesting also need to understand. The demand from the EU is something that they need to force because they need to also protect the welfare of, right, of their people per se, right? This means the economic concept that they have built on, right? So uh, if you see from the perspective of the national level, that means that there's another way that you need to put in place of trying to make sure that the tuna that the fishers caught is also being highly compensated, right? Just to give everything in more contextual level here. In my current work, there after the Trump tariff happening a couple of years back, we are facing the most horrific situation, which means that the fishers uh, need to face very low price for the tuna. It's even costs lower than chicken, right? So that means we need to come up with a solution. We cannot always try to um, push the tuna fishers to align with the political agenda, right? So that means now I have been advocating with the parliament also uh, on rising or increasing the domestic demand for tuna. So I mean, if you come to Jakarta now, you will see more restaurants opening for tuna in Indonesian way of cooking or Japanese way and all that. But the way that we need to understand that our work at the end of the day is to for the welfare of the tuna fishers. That means that they come first. That's why then increasing the demand of the local demand or national demand for tuna can secure their fish to be caught by the local market, right? And compensated well. That's why then there's also a couple of derivation after that is the Indonesia tuna price that we're trying to push through, tuna price, uh, and also have a more standard local standards for tuna. So not MSC certified, but something uh, more relatable to the demand of local market, meaning an eco label for Indonesia. So that's a couple of ways, innovative way for you to can play around with. But please understand that all of these demands are just like that I say the concept of economy and politics, and the fishers should not be aligned to that political agenda.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I hope that helps.
Yes, insightful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I want to continue my notes here. Actually, two of my question already answered or questioned by the participant. Thank you. So I don't have to repeat it again. But I do want to ask one question specifically,
Right.
which is how you build trust among stakeholders. I mean, is there any specific strategy for Tuna Consortium to build trust among all the stakeholders that have different priorities?
Okay. So first, give them time. Second, understand their concerns. And third, making sure that not we are not as what they we are not the one who's doing their concerns, right? Sorry, I don't like have the words for it, but basically their concerns, for instance, in my case, because we have an international organization as one of the member, they think like, oh, maybe this international organization want to get the data out of the country and all that, make some sort of analysis, and it's going to not benefiting the whole government situation, right? So uh, we need to make sure and prove them that we are not as what they concern about. So that the third one. So understanding that there's also time. This is the first step. They need to find the time to know who you are, to see where you come from, and to understand that you are also actually helping them, right? So that's, I think, the longest part of the steps that I have been going through. It takes, in this case, for this program, it takes almost 2 years on building the trust. And then afterwards, again, yes, we understand their concerns. Everyone has their own interest, agenda, and also political views in this way. So you also need to understand that and making sure that we come as neutral as possible. Hope that helps.
Thank you. Yeah, very insightful. All right. So my next question actually a little bit deviate from Tuna Consortium per se. You work closely with Indonesian startup ecosystem and have
Right.
even helped shape Indonesian participant in South by Southwest. For those who does probably not know, I think Americans know, Charlotte and Ben. South by Southwest is a very big festival, I think, a conference, or it's the whole week in Austin. So Thilma, one of the team, I think one of the key person who brings some of our delegates there.
Yeah.
What lesson from the innovation and startup world do you think that still are missing in fisheries and coastal development sector?
Ooh, there's not many. There's not many, Farid. It's just all of the works that I've been doing in a good 8 years of being working in tech companies. Everything relates to either communications, right, or educations. That's like the most top two, right? But in terms of fisheries, in terms of ocean literacy, even anything else relates on nature, that's not many. So that's the biggest lesson learned. Even being the lead for Indonesia participation for South by Southwest for a good, I think, 7 years. They also like the innovation only relates something outside of this world, meaning like mapping out something around space, right? Space, and also on the nothing on, I should say, nothing on herbs per se, like herbs for medicines and all that, which is something that I think humanity needs technology to help us survive, right, in this earth, not in other planet, because we are now currently living in this planet. So that would be like my most takeaway. I'm hoping I could live long enough to see more innovations coming towards the ocean's protection.
Right. A lot of grassroots leaders struggle not because their work lacks of impact, but because they struggle to communicate strategically. In your experience, what makes a story actually influence decision makers?
Okay, let me get the first bit first about the communication, strategic communication. Nothing is strategic if you don't know how to make it done. So I won't be too proud of saying, oh, I've done a strategic communication if it's not done, right? If your interest or your target is not done, right? So that's I think has millions of elements, meaning that you need to understand on the learning about the momentum, also maybe creating the momentum, or understanding how your counterparts can understand why you are pushing this so hard, right? So that's around strategic communication. And the other ones on the story, I didn't do too much of storytelling. I just say basically, in this case, Indonesia is the top producer of tuna, and we have all of I even say we are currently sitting in the gold, under on top of gold right now, right? Meaning like the protein, right? The tuna. So that means that we need to do something about this, because this species is highly migratory. If the temperature rise up into 2% plus, 2 Celsius plus, then the species will run. And then Indonesia will not be the top producer anymore. And for them, for the government officials, this is an alarming effect. This is something that they can see. For us, it's legacy, but for them, this is something that they can probably contribute for their own benefit. And we need to understand that. So yeah, for me, working in this field, also working in the side of the politics, I see there's no right and wrong. I see what's work.
Right. Osias, you have your hands up. You have a question? Or this is from before?
Just shortly. Okay, thank
Okay.
you, Marv. Do you find any challenges to approach local fishermen, tuna fishermen, and the government? And how will you deal with that on your the challenges that you face? The second one is um, how will you deal with the first you start a job with the Tuna Consortium? Are you get paid or just a volunteer to do the job? And how you deal with it if you are a volunteer, and how you deal with that?
Okay.
Just to get your experience in that can help us in team too. Thank you.
I'll take the second question first because that's easier. Yes, I'm getting paid because Walton Family Foundation fortunately supported the Tuna Consortium for the last this phase. The next phase would be starting from 2019, and we're going into the next phase, which is the phase 4, would be a decade long support. So that's number 2. And the first, on the relationship between the local government and the fishers, yes, of course, there's always challenges. But one thing that I always keep in mind, and also maybe it's beneficial for me to share here, you are not the problem solver. No, you are the initiator. They need to find their own solution out of everything. So we are the one who's, basically we're just we're consulting for them. They're our clients, right? So we are now kind of pushing. We can give them options, of course, but we need to also understand the consequences if they choose one options out of that. So yes, there's challenges. Let's make it more lively, the dynamic of the relationships.
Thank you. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Osias.
Right. Anybody else? A question? We have a 6 minute. Mark, go ahead, Mark.
Thank you again. This is very direct. Selma, how was the
Yeah.
women working with the Tuna Consortium? How are women and mothers involved in this consortium altogether?
You mean the management level or like the one that benefit, but like beneficiaries of our work?
On decision making.
Oh, I see more women actually working in fisheries right now, and I think decision making. I'm glad that you pointed that out because gender wise, I think it's 50-50. But most of it, just like I just come up from the partners meeting where all the donors kind of pick their own, facilitators, and it turns out it's all men. So that was last week, and I was like, no, 2 weeks ago. So I was like, I become the first woman in the room of 100 people, and I say like, to break the stigma of this all men-led conference. I say that I'll be the first one to speak. I think for woman participation, very important to have a role model, and I have been trying from 2014 when I understand about gender and woman participation to be one. But also it's very important for the men to give space to women to make the decision making or be part of it.
Right. Charlotte. Oh, go ahead, Charlotte.
I figure I can use this as an opportunity, a little bit of a teaching moment. So Thilma, one thing that we're focusing on a lot in this program is how to influence decision makers using real life perspectives of communities, of the work that these NGOs are doing, making it really human and giving it that
Yes.
human connection, especially in a global perspective, right? So like a lot of the advocacy will happen at the national level and sometimes at even more of a provincial level. But specifically for this program, we're looking at how to influence international decision makers. So I've seen you and others in the Tuna Consortium come back from international events very jazzed up about the conversations that you've had, the leverage that you think that you've been able to provide, and how that can influence the work of the Tuna Consortium moving forward. So I would love for you to be able to share a little bit about what works for you and what you've seen work in that international space in terms of what are some policy advocacy tools and even just like network building and partnership building tools that you've used or that you've seen others use really effectively in the international context.
Okay, I'll try my best to be simple to be understood, right? So I think for me it's the consistency in terms of there's a lot of points that we face deadlock here in the national part, but we know internationals pressure in a good way can also provide some sort of good pull and push factor. So that's why then consistency of always try to make the best out of your opportunities to speak internationally is the best, and making sure that the key message is very simple and direct, and of course it needs to be contextual and relatable to the international context. And that's something it's very easy to say but very hard and very complex to design. That's why then I think having a mentor is very important. I'm hoping we can still connect it in LinkedIn. Also, I'm part of the cohort, and so that we can help, because international view are obviously different from national part. And sometimes I think speakers coming into the international stage bringing their own problems, and I don't think it's solutive at all. It's not. Yeah. So that's I think having your presence in international stage, meaning that you need to have more not support but also more how do you say, like you need to create your own tribe basically from your vibe. So making sure that your message is also relatable in terms of when you say, Charlotte, about the human and human interaction. Again, I don't see anyone else different than apart from our national flags. It's just human trying to protect the ocean. That's all. And that's very simple concept need to be in every time you build your speech on the international stage, because that's your call to action moment. So every time put your international presence as a call to action to humanity.
That's really
Right.
great. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you. We just about to enter the top of the hour, so I just only have one question, and I ask you. I hope you can answer this very quickly before we close. My last question is, we all of us here, part of the emerging coastal leaders, have been working on the coastals for quite some time. So, what quality, the most important quality, you think should coastal leaders should have to separate them from those who probably burn out or having giving up, but continues to strong to work on this space? What quality, just the most important quality, you think should have?
I don't see it's more on the quality of a characters. I see it's a system. I mean, I think if you want to keep working in this field, and if you are very passionate about this, if you want to make changes, impacts, real impacts, that means you need to be around same like-minded people. You need to be around people who have the same vision, right? So because people can burn out, and it's so human. It's so personal, and that's okay. But the only thing is who can pick you back up. Your circle you need to be able to do that for you. Your circle need to understand that you have this mission for in your lifetime, of making changes, making impact. So I think it's the system that you choose to be in.
Right. Thank you. I think should we take a pictures
Oh,
together? Turn on your camera, guys.
thank you. I hope this helps to everyone. And please stay connected in LinkedIn. I hope I can share mine.
Okay. Pinchai, you want to help me to do this? My skill on this picture taking actually. My Seoran.
Yes, sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone ready? 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Thank you very much, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Terima kasih.
And, yeah.
Terima kasih
uh,
banyak, Ibu.
we will have
Sampai
a
nanti.
session
Terima
next
kasih. Terima kasih banyak,
Bye.
Ibu.
Terima kasih. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.